Thanks to Remarkable for sponsoring this video. So if I had to say what the one thing was that got me exceptional results at Cambridge and then allows me to continue to perform excellently in my job as a corporate lawyer, it would be my ability to focus, to get into a state of flow. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my productivity system that's broken down into 4 different areas. And as you build these techniques into your own productivity system, I want you to ask yourself one question that I always ask myself when I'm tempted by procrastination. Will I choose focus over distraction? And the reason I ask myself that question is because the answer is binary, right? You can either answer yes or no. Hopefully you're choosing yes. You're thinking, okay, I'm going to apply those techniques in Liam's video. I'm going to get myself into a state of flow. I'm going to choose focus. Flow is this state where you're fully absorbed in what you're doing, where your work takes over, and where you're able to produce way higher quality work and feel way more satisfied at the end of work sessions. It is, in the words of the founding father of flow, Csikszentmihalyi, the state where the ego falls away. Essentially, you lose your sense of self, your work takes over, you're absorbed, and it is honestly a pretty awesome state to be in, hopefully multiple times a day. So let's dive into my system. Okay, so first up, your physical state. And this is really what I think of as like the baseline requirement for getting into a state of flow. You have to be physically comfortable, feeling good, energized in order to be able to really be absorbed in the work you're doing. And there is strong evidence to back up that your physical state has a statistically significant impact on your ability to enter flow state, be focused, maintain concentration. So practically there are 2 levels that I focus on to get my body ready to enter flow. The first is the macro physical state. This is the broader sense of just how you're feeling. Are you energized? Do you have overall physical well-being to be able to get into a state of flow? And scientists are pretty universally aligned that in terms of your macro physical state and focus, there's one factor that is most important, and that is your sleep. I think it's obvious that sleep has an impact on, for example, our mood and our general sense of well-being, but I think it's less obvious that it actually directly impacts our concentration levels and our ability to really be absorbed by what we're doing. But studies into flow have consistently shown, particularly in a workplace setting, that sleepiness is significantly and negatively correlated with flow experiences. So look, I've made an entire video on why you're so tired and how to overcome sleepiness. So I recommend you go watch that video, but 2 practical techniques that I think may feel counterintuitive during the workday. The first one is that actually, if you're the kind of person for whom a nap actually makes some positive difference, a 20-minute nap followed by direct sunlight exposure for maybe 10 minutes going on a walk may actually have a positive impact on your overall daily productivity, given the ability to enter a flow state and do really focused work. So definitely consider napping if that is something that works for you. And the second is something that I find really improves my sleep at the end of the day, and that is planning out the next day everything I'm going to do, unloading everything that's in my brain in terms of what I want to get done tomorrow onto a piece of paper, planning exactly what I want to get done the following day so that I can then relax for an hour or 2 in the evening and go to bed without my mind racing about all the things I need to get done tomorrow. And the second thing I'm focused on from a macro physical perspective is exercise. There is, again, such a strong body of evidence to show that there are huge cognitive benefits, including improved attention, to doing even a small amount of daily exercise. So I personally use the Done app to track my habits, and I set myself the challenge each week of doing 3 workouts and then 2 days where I run or walk. And even if I just go 15 minutes on the bike in the gym, it takes me a total of half an hour between getting to the gym and then showering afterwards and being at my desk. That massively improves my focus and my ability to get into flow. So once the macro is sorted, I'm then looking at my micro physical state. And this is my physical state as it relates to the specific work session I'm about to enter. And probably my favorite productivity technique is what I call the cinema technique. It's this idea that when you go to watch Oppenheimer, you don't go in with a full bladder, no food, no drink. You're going to watch a 3-hour film. So you're going to the loo beforehand, you're getting a snack, you're getting water, you're making sure you're ready to be focused on the film for 3 hours. So you should treat your work sessions the exact same. You should go into that work session expecting your micro-physical state to be sufficiently ready to perform and to focus for an hour or 2. So I recommend taking 5 techniques when you're going into the cinema, and the first is to eat something before you go in, ideally something slow release, but it can be just a small chocolate bar, not something too big that gives you a big sugar spike, because that will hamper your ability to focus. Second, take a loo break. Third, have another snack ready for 30 to 60 minutes time in case you get peckish. Fourth, have a full supply of water. And fifth, put on a timer on your desk start and see how long you can go for and remain focused. Okay, on to the second part of my system. You need to build an environment where you feel happy, confident, and comfortable spending hours at a time working. So I'd focus on the easy wins. At the end of every day, I always make sure my workspace is tidy so that when I arrive at work the next day, I have this sort of clear workspace, clear mind in order to begin my work for the day. Another easy win is to make sure distractions aren't easily accessible. So put your personal phone on work mode and flip it over so you can't see the screen. I make sure personally that my work phone, while face up, has notifications turned off, and I just have notifications appear on my screen so I can quickly flick to see what the email said. Was it urgent? If it's not urgent, I don't look at it. I'm back in a state of flow. And if you're in a job like me where people expect you to be responsive, it might be an idea when you're in a deep work session to set your status on Teams to do not disturb, that red icon with a dash through. It means that people probably will assume you're in a meeting or doing something really important. They won't disturb you and they'll expect you to respond later. And then the final thing on environment is to invest in quality tools. I have made a number of desk setup videos which you should check out on the more budget end and the more premium end, but fundamentally there is nowhere, in my bed included, that I spend more time of my life than at this desk. So that means spending a bit of money on a nice keyboard, a nice mouse, good monitors, really making this setup somewhere that I want to spend time is fundamentally such a good investment in money. It is where I spend the vast majority of my life. And from a flow perspective, if you're getting annoyed because your keyboard's kind of rubbish and old and like you hit one key and it doesn't work, or your back is uncomfortable because your chair is old and not that comfy, it means that fundamentally those things are going to get in the way of you being absorbed by your work because they're going to distract you. And one amazing tool that I particularly want to call out in terms of focus and flow is this bad boy, the Remarkable 2. It is an absolute savior when it comes to note-taking because unlike other tech that monetizes your attention, its sole purpose is to allow you to effectively take notes. So I have been using the Remarkable 2 for a few months now, and my experience, I've got to say, has just got better and better as I've got more and more used to it. It feels more like paper than any conventional tablet I've tried, and even has this sound that is the same as writing on paper. I'm a huge note taker, and so I'm really excited to stop having notebooks all over the place that I forget about, can never refer back to, can never find anything in, and instead to have all my handwritten notes organized and in one place. Plus, it's obviously amazing that all of your notes are then accessible across different devices and stored in the cloud. I also love that you can open up PDFs within the device and make notes over the top of those as if you'd printed them off and were taking notes on paper. I also absolutely love the size and ease of use of the Remarkable 2. I've traveled with it quite a bit and it slips easily inside my Menos backpack when I'm out and about, and it's so thin and lightweight that you barely even notice it's there. The pen, case, and device itself are all really sleek and minimal in their design, so it really fits in with my overall aesthetic, making the Remarkable 2 a really satisfying bit of tech to use. I just really love having it with me and the feel of it. Plus, it's easy to navigate with a simple and intuitive user interface. So yeah, you can find out more about the Remarkable 2 through the link in the description, and do go and try one out for yourself. Okay, so you're physically ready, you've got a positive environment, and now it's time to focus on the big one, your state of mind. And there are two elements here. So first thing you need to focus on is challenging yourself. So Csikszentmihalyi found that generally we're only able to get into a state of flow when the challenge of the work matches approximately our skill level. So practically this means if there's a simple task at work, I try to delegate it. If I can't delegate it because I need to do it myself, I will try to find challenge in that simple task. For example, if I'm tasked with proofreading something, I will try to understand it and find areas where I think things could be better explained. Conversely, if a task is particularly challenging above my skill level, I'll focus on it for maybe 30 minutes. I'm probably not in a state of flow. I'll then come away with clear questions that I want to ask the person who I'm doing the task for, clarify any areas where I really don't understand, and then equipped with my new knowledge and now ready to enter a state of flow, I'll work on that task for a couple of hours. And the final thing I'd say here is that you can also just challenge yourself to be focused for an hour, say twice a day. So in the Done app, I have a habit that I have to complete twice a day to remain focused in deep work for an hour. And each time I do that, I get to check it off. Just the challenge of remaining focused is enough often to get me more towards a state of flow. And the second thing I'm doing is getting in the zone. So I have my cinema task, those 5 steps to complete before I get in the zone. And then once I've got everything ready, I'm ready to go into the cinema. I'm putting in my noise cancelling AirPods, probably having a few deep breaths, I'm putting on Endel, and I'm getting to work. So once you've done your kind of cinema steps, I really recommend building up your own pre-deep work routine where you, for example, take a number of deep breaths, you prepare yourself, you maybe move your shoulders, relax, and you start. Something that you can reliably do to trigger yourself to get into a state of focused work. And the final thing I'm focused on to get into flow is how I'm structuring my work sessions. So for me, the ideal length of work session is between 1 and 2 hours. I can stay focused for that long, and if I get into a state of flow after around 20 to 30 minutes, I then find that I've probably got another hour-ish of work in that state of flow before I need a break. So when I'm setting myself a task, even if the task is going to take overall 7 hours, let's say, I will break that down into doing this little bit of that overall bigger task for a period of what I think will be around an hour to an hour and a half, giving me a target that I can try and reach during my next work session. So break down any bigger task into smaller, specific, targeted chunks of work where you have an end destination you're getting to. And then when you get to that, you can have a break. It gives you something to work towards. It's way more fulfilling. And it also means that you can roughly time how long your work sessions are, the ideal length of work session for you in terms of focus and flow. The other thing I do when I'm structuring my work is to start easier and get harder. So procrastination is driven by the feeling that the work we're about to do is going to be really hard, really painful, and therefore we avoid doing that work because it's easier. Therefore, procrastination can be mitigated by starting with really easy tasks. I like to apply David Allen's The 2-Minute Rule from his book Getting Things Done, where you effectively start the day by doing anything that's going to take less than 2 minutes, get that knocked off the checklist, get into your work. You're not in flow yet, but you're just starting the day with some easy wins. However, you absolutely should not spend more than 20 to 30 minutes doing these kind of 2-minute little jobs, task switching, because actually the morning for many people is one of the most productive times of the day. And so if you spend more than about 30 minutes on actually what are pretty admin focused, easy tasks, you're probably wasting some of your most productive time in the day. So start easy for about 20 to 30 minutes, knock off those easy 2-minute-ish items, and then move on to more focused, difficult work. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, then go and check out one of my other videos that's on screen now. Please do give this a like, please do subscribe, please do comment. I always read your comments. Honestly, liking it actually genuinely helps so much. So please do, if you enjoyed this, give it a like. And I look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.